You talked about kind of investing in these areas to reduce waste, or maybe eliminate it altogether. I think that's really interesting, and sort of, I mean, we talk a lot about scrap reduction, waste reduction being a good thing. What are you guys doing in that area, and how do you manage that investment? What does that look like from a dollars perspective or a size of an investment, and how do you kind of look at the return on that investment?
Sure. So in one particular project, we have what's called a centrifuge that helps purify our product, mainly remove the salt from the product that's generated in the chemical process, because the customer doesn't want the salt. They want the pure resin, right? Well, in removing the salt, a lot of times it takes more of the resin with it. Well, besides being a cost issue, you don't want to lose good resin. That resin ends up going in a wastewater treatment plant, have to be treated, and then discharged from the wastewater treatment plant. So we actually implemented a project to do a additional wash process in that centrifuge to remove more of the resin, retain it, sell it as good product, and not have it go to the wastewater treatment plant.
Let me take like a step back. So the process happens, and a resin was like a powder?
No, it's like a syrupy, almost like maple syrup consistency. Yeah. And
so it's like so when I do the reaction, I'm going to be left with some part water with some salt in it, which I'm not sure where that comes from, but there's some salt in it. And
it's generated by the chemical reaction.
The process. Just salt's just one of the byproducts.
Yep.
And then I've got this like resin. So the idea is skim off or take off as much of the resin as possible.
That's right.
Leaving hopefully salt water behind.
That's right.
But the more resin I have in the salt water, the more I need to treat it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that resin is full of oxygen and carbon containing compounds that you don't want to put that into the environment. So you have to break it down. And we have a biomass wastewater treatment plant that basically eats the resin and breaks it down into
biomass water treatment plant?
Yeah, biological activated biological sludge treatment plant.
It's like bacteria or whatever that eats the stuff that's in the water.
Water bears are the best type.
Water bears?
Water bears, that's right. They're a special type of bacteria that you want to have because they do a good job of eating that resin. But the point is, let's not send them down there. Let's not send the resin to the water bears. We'll keep the water bears healthy when we need them, but we don't want them to have to eat too much resin. We want to keep the resin and sell it. And that's what this process did. It was about a $500,000 project that we installed a couple years ago, and it's working pretty well and getting to the point where we're able to recover a lot more of that product and not send it down there.